everyone, welcome back. Today we are in continuation with the alternate video. This is part 2. So if you haven't checked part 1, please go and check that. So in the part 2 we'll be studying about the tray selection procedure and the patient's guidance. What you need to keep in mind when you're taking the impression or the patient is coming to you for impression for the first time, and how you're supposed to select the tray. Moving ahead to the types of trays. So there are basically two types of trays, the stock tray and the custom trays. Stock trays can be perforated or non-perforated. So this is how the perforated trays look like. And if we talk about the perforated tray, they are generally used for alginate impressions. Now if you have saw the previous video, I told you that in alginate we have mechanical interlocking as a criteria or as a process of locking or material getting attached to the tray. So that is the mechanical interlocking that takes place. So basically the alginate flows out through these pores and it locks itself to the tray. This is what happens. So that is the reason in case of alginate we always use perforated trays, whereas the non-perforated trays are usually used in the edentulous patients for the impression, compound impressions. Moving ahead to the selection of the impression tray. Now the very important question, how you supposed to select the tray. So the selection procedure is almost same in case of maxilla and the mandibular tray selection. Now if I talk about the maxilla, always keep in mind that whenever you're choosing a tray for a patient, no matter it is maxilla or it is mandible, always keep in mind that it should cover all the teeth should be covered. All the teeth in the arch should be covered properly by the tray, and it should not impinge the oral tissues of the patient. So the patient should not complain like he's having pain or he's having irritation from that, or it is impinging his tissues or hurting his tissues. That should not happen. So the tray must come in case of maxillary tray, the tray must completely cover the tuberosity. It should be 4 mm wider than the most apical portion of the alveolar process at the molar region. So at the molar region it should be 4 mm wider so that the material can flow easily. The tray must cover the anteriors with the incisors contacting the flat surface of the teeth. So when you're keeping it in the anterior region, make sure that the incisor edge is completely meeting the flat surface of the tray. Okay, and again it should be 4 mm wider. Now coming to the mandibular tray, the tray should cover all the teeth again as from the retromolar pad region also. The tray should be again 4 to 6 mm wider than the buccal and the lingual portion of the anterior teeth. It must be possibly to center the tray. So it should be very easy for you to center and place the tray easily. Now moving to the preparation of the patient. So if the patient is coming to you for the very first time and he has no idea about what the procedure is, the first thing you have to do is explain the procedure to the patient in a very simple language with no technical terms to use. In a very layman language, you have to tell that what you're going to do, that you'll first make a mix and then load it on the tray, and then I'll put that tray in your mouth. So you have to tell the patient that slight gagging can happen, but there's nothing to get worried about. But so the patient should sit upright so that the gagging can be prevented. Also, you have to keep in mind as a dentist that you do not have to overload the tray. Do not overload the tray with a lot of excess material. That will definitely lead to gagging. So never overload the tray and ask the patient to sit upright, as a little bit of gagging can happen. Also advise the patient to breathe from the nose, and in case there is gagging, please try to distract your patient's attention and ask the patient to look downwards toward the feet, ask the patient to move the feet, and also try to communicate with the patient so that he is continually distracted. Also practice the placement of the empty tray into the patient's mouth so that the patient has a complete idea of how the procedure is going to happen. Now talking about the maxillary impression. Now maxillary impression, always keep in mind your position. The operator's position should be 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock in the clock. Okay, so it should be 11 o'clock. Now patient should sit in a way that the occlusal plane plays parallel to the floor. A blob of material should be placed inside the palatal vault of the patient just behind the incisors so that to eliminate the trapped air. Now this is a very exceptional procedure. We do not do that every time. Use your thumb and index finger of the free hand to retract the cheek and also the lips. So you have to keep this in mind. This is very, very important for a good impression. The free hand should be used to retract the cheek and the lips. Once inserted, straighten the tray so that the tray is in the line with the patient's mid-face so that the midline falls on place. So just as you insert the tray, like when you're inserting the tray, it is to be little bit tilted. For example, this is your tray. Okay, so at the time you are inserting it into the patient's mouth, it should be a little bit tilted. But as soon as you reach into the patient's mouth, you have to straighten your tray. Now begin to apply light pressure. A lot of pressure can harm or can irritate the patient also, so do not apply a lot of pressure, just apply a firm pressure, and now wait for 3 to 4 minutes for your impression to get set. Now mandibular impression. In case of maxillary impression, the operator's position was 11 o'clock, here it is supposed to be 7 o'clock. Patient seated such a way that the occlusal plane placed parallel to the floor of the mouth. Use the thumb and the index finger of the free hand to retract the cheek the same point. Grasp the handle of the tray and rotate the tray into the mouth by using the front of the tray and deflect the other cheek. So what you have to do in case of mandibular impression is try to imagine what I am speaking. For example, the patient is sitting in front of you and you're having a tray in your hand. Now in this case, in case of mandibular impression, your tray will be upside down. Okay, so what you have to do is just take the impression tray and put it on one side of your lip and just put it from one side of the buccal mucosa, and as soon as you reach inside the patient's mouth, just straighten your tray which is being tilted as you are entering into the patient's mouth. Try to straighten. For example, this is the patient's mouth, okay, upper lip and the lower lip, and this is your tray. So when you're reaching the patient's mouth, the tray will be something like this, the handle will be here, okay, so it would be tilted. But as soon as you reach inside the mouth, just straighten your just straighten your tray like this, and so that all the teeth can be covered into the arch. So when you have to enter, it should be tilted, but then when you have entered the mouth, just straighten your tray, set it properly, and then wait for it to set. Now disinfecting the impression is very, very important, as there are a number of disorders and diseases that can spread through this. Like disinfection of impression is a concern due to viral disease such as hepatitis, AIDS, and herpes simplex, and nowadays coronavirus, a very common one. Okay, so it is very important that you disinfect your impression. Now gently rinse the impression under the tap water to remove the debris. Do not put it under a very good flowing water, otherwise there can be distortion which can occur, and in a very slight tap water you just have to gently rinse it. Now gently shake the excess of the water. Also spray the entire impression with an OSHA, that is OSHA, Occupational Health and Safety Administration approved disinfecting solution. If you do not have that, you can use glutaraldehyde solution or iodophors, that can also be used. So this was all about the alginate and how you're supposed to handle your patient, how you're supposed to select the tray. In part 1, I told you everything about the composition and the properties of alginate. So if this video helped you, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.